Are you not sure what you should be doing in the gym? Do not worry, because you are not alone. 12, 15 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing in the gym either. In fact, first of all, I used to go to the ladies only section in my gym and mess around and think I'd done a workout and tick, great, I can go home. Or I then got my boyfriend to show me what to do in the gym. So I followed his workout and basically did, 4 days a week of mirror muscles. And if you don't know what mirror muscles are, it's literally anything that you can see when you look in the mirror. So I wasn't training my posterior. I was barely training legs. Not a vibe. The thing is, most people will wander around the gym. They'll go in with no real plan. They'll just pick random machines or a rough routine that they're kind of used to doing. You might just go in there and either copy some random Instagram workouts or just pick random machines, kind of create your own little routine of the things that kind of feel comfortable. Or again, you might be doing things that your boyfriend has shown you or your partner's shown you. So today I'm going to show you a simple framework of how you can approach this and why this works and why this is a great place to start. Before we get into it, this is what I do. I'm Rachel. I'm a personal trainer and online coach. And over the last 6 years, I've helped countless women get in incredible shape, lose body fat, get fit, get strong, and just feel better in themselves. And that is what my coaching is all about. I also love training. So and I've fallen in love with training the more I've understood what to do and why, and the more I've actually simplified my workouts. Years ago, I just used to do all sorts of stuff, and I'd be one of those people doing multiple exercises, trying different things, switching it up, all the same stuff that I hear now from the women in my DMs. And also now I have my own coach programming for me, which helps me see even more why simple is effective. I just did a workout this morning that was 4 exercises. Yeah, 4 exercises plus a bit of a conditioning piece. And it was hard work, and I really worked myself. The Rachel of 12 years ago would have been like, 4 exercises? Who even are you? That's not a workout. And it just shows you it's not about how many different exercises. It's not about mixing it up. It's about consistency and movement patterns. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Before we properly get into it, there are many ways of skinning a cat. And this is some general advice of where to start and what can work. Programming and why you should do what you do is really dependent on you and your goals as well. So I'm using this as a structure for women who want to start getting stronger in the gym, want to get confident in the gym, want to have effective training sessions, build all-round body strength, build all-round muscle tone, maybe focus a little bit more on glutes, lower body, and we'll train 2 to 3 days a week. You can do this over 4 days. But you can still adapt this, and you can also add cardio in these different elements. There's so many things to consider when you're programming and a workout and progression and all that stuff. But we can't go into that in a short YouTube video. So instead, what I'm going to go through is just the fundamentals, because whilst we can really overcomplicate it or go into the intricacies of programming and how you would design it over the next 12 weeks, 12 months, how that can be done, we also don't need to. We can just really simplify it. So with this structure, we're not just plucking random exercises out of our arse, first and foremost. This is based on movement patterns to get a well-rounded full body workout. If you train your whole body, you get stronger everywhere. And it helps with imbalances or preventing imbalances or minimizing imbalances, because we're all imbalanced. The first movement pattern we're looking at is a squat pattern. So that might be front loaded. That might be like a goblet squat, a front rack kettlebell squat, a barbell front squat, a back squat, a hack squat, a leg press. Anything where you are doing the squat pattern, you can slot into this. Because again, it depends on you. If you're just starting out, leg press where you've got a lot of stability might be great, or even a goblet squat. If you're more advanced and you've been doing that and you want to progress it, you might integrate some barbell work here. But a squat pattern is key. You can do heels elevated if you want to make it a bit more quad dominant. But a squat pattern is fundamental in this training plan. Then we've got a hinge pattern. Now with the hinge pattern, think of like the squat's predominantly working, your quads. I mean, it's working all lower body and it's full body really. And we're looking at trunk stability, core, all that stuff. But also, again, we might be prioritizing a little bit more quads. A hinge movement pattern, we're looking at the posterior, we're looking at the glutes, the hamstrings. So this is things that are based around the deadlift. So you might do a kettlebell deadlift, you might do a trap bar deadlift, a barbell deadlift, you might do a dumbbell Romanian deadlift, or a barbell Romanian deadlift, or a Smith machine Romanian deadlift. Anything where you are hinging at the hips, even things like a 45-degree hip extension, we're getting the hinge pattern in through there. But I always focus a bit more on a deadlift variation here, because again, in terms of full body strength, we're looking at, looking at squats for strength, we're looking at deadlifts for strength, or variations of. So that's something else that needs to be in your program. Those things are kind of key for the lower body. We've then got single leg movements. Now, without overcomplicating it, because you can do single leg variations of squat patterns, of hinge patterns, but we can need to throw something in there that might be like a reverse lunge, or a step up, or a split squat. And this can be dumbbell, bodyweight, barbell variations. There's so much variety here on the cables. There's so much you can do. But again, what we're going to but what's going to happen with doing some single leg lower body work is we're working a little bit on balance, on control, how our core integrates into this. So I quite like, if I've done like a some kind of squat, bilateral squat, so both legs squat, and a normal variation of a deadlift, then throwing in a more dynamic movement like a reverse lunge or a step up is really good for the single leg lower body work. And that kind of covers a lot of bases for the lower body. Then for the upper body, we're looking at vertical pushing and pulling. So a vertical push is some kind of shoulder press variation. It's a great way of thinking about it. So it might be a seated dumbbell press. It might be a standing barbell press. It might be a single arm dumbbell, cable, kettlebell. It could be a landmine press. Something where you are pressing overhead. And then to counter that, because when we're looking at full body strength and building a program, we're looking at balance. So if we're doing some kind of vertical pressing motion, we want to be doing some kind of vertical pulling motion. So those are things like flat pull downs, pull-ups if you can do them, or assisted pull-ups, banded pull-ups, single arm pull downs. Having something like this in your program, and especially if you're wanting to build towards doing pull-ups, then doing a pull down variation and building your strength that way is going to be really helpful. Then we've got horizontal pressing and pulling motions. So horizontal press are things like dumbbell bench, push-ups, single arm bench, barbell bench, incline, chest press machine. Something when we are pressing outward, push-ups. And then we've got the horizontal pull. So another one for the back, rows, single arm rows, cable rows, machine rows, single arm variations, barbell variations. And this is why there's still a lot of scope for how you structure this into your plan. And that's kind of key in terms of upper body. If we have those and we've got the key fundamentals for the lower body, then you've got the start of a really well-rounded program to get you going. And you could have 2 days a week. You could have 3 days a week. You could do like upper and lower. So you put all your upper ones and variations in 2 days a week and then 2 lower. But I just like to think about it depending on how many days you're wanting to do. Pick 4 to 6 exercises for each day. Make sure it's balanced. So that's then the foundations of a really good, well-rounded program, keeping those key things in there. Now then, what I like to sort of throw in is, I work with a lot of ladies, and often ladies want to train their legs a bit more, maybe they want to grow their glutes. So I would put an extra movement in there for the lower body that's more glute specific. So it might be a hip thrust, it might be a cable kickback, an abduction, a 45-degree hip extension. And then it's just down to how many days a week you want to train. So if you've got 2 or 3 days and we're looking at full body, we're just going to pick 4 to 6 exercises out of those for each of the sessions, and then making sure we're hitting, each of them twice a week over the 3 sessions. So you might have a goblet squat in one and a leg press in the other. And then in another day, you might have a barbell deadlift, but then another day you'll have an RDL. And then you might do 2 days that got single leg work, and the third day's then got a hip thrust. And we might have a push-up and a single arm dumbbell press. Then on another day, we're going to have the shoulder press, and we might have, and this is how we do it. We just look at what you've got and you move them around. So you've got 3 days a week. If you've got 4 days and you want to do 2 upper and 2 lower, you can pick from your pool of upper, and that's where you'd add a little bit more upper accessory. If you've got 2 lower days, again, go with those basics and then add in some lower accessories, a bit more glute specific, maybe some isolation work in terms of hamstring curls or leg extension. This is where the variety then comes in, and this is where it's really person specific, because it's you and your goals and the time availability, how long you've got for a session. But we don't need to keep adding loads of stuff in. Think 4 to 6 exercises, 2 to 4 sets, and rep ranges anywhere from like 6 to 15. You can go higher than that, but I generally think a lot of people struggle doing higher volume than that. 6 to 10 if we're doing really heavy focused, if it's like barbell work. And a key thing with it as well is the rest time. I don't recommend resting for anything less than 90 seconds between sets, because I want you to rest sufficiently to then go hard again on the next set. I think a common thing for so many women is we're used to this circuit training, high intensity, keep moving, calorie burn. It's not what we need for strength training. We need to be resting and going just as hard in the next set. Below is my 6 exercises that I recommend everybody does, and that covers these basics, and I show you exactly how to do them if you're a beginner or then the more advanced version. So click that if you want to know how you should be doing those exercises and get yourself started. And if you've got any questions or want any more information on this or what might work specifically for you and your situation, drop me a message on Instagram. I'll see you in the next video.